What is up, everybody? This is your boy, Dedrian Cologne, and this is my review for the February 21st episode of AEW Dynamite. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification so that way you're notified when the City of Wrestling drops its latest content. Follow me, Dedrian_180 on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Fanbase, Blue Sky, and you can follow me on Facebook. Man, tonight's AEW Dynamite, I know some people might rag on it, like, oh, it just wasn't, like, what was this? What was that? But this was a pretty decent Dynamite. That's what I rated it. That was my rating. It was just decent. It wasn't, excuse me, it wasn't like what we normally see from AEW Dynamite. And, obviously it wasn't anything compared to what we saw last week and the week before. But this was a decent Dynamite to progress, some stories and everything. Also, Tony Khan tweeted that there was a lot of things as far as wrestlers being injured, sick, travel issues. Like, there was just a lot of stuff going on. So for me, when I read that tweet, I'm like, all right, you know what? Just take Dynamite for what it is. Don't have these for me, don't have these big expectations like, oh, it's going to be this, and don't have like, oh, it's going to stink, because normally AEW in the 5-year history, or actually 4-year history that it's existed, when it's situations like that where it's travel issues, injuries, and that whole thing, like when it comes together, they have pretty decent shows. Like I said, the show wasn't like, oh man, it sucked, or, oh my God, it was amazing. It was just decent. And it does feel like, for me, watching this episode of Dynamite and just a lot of the things that's happening outside of the show within the company, it does feel like they have some plans in motion, and they're just waiting till after Revolution to actually roll out those plans and everything. And I don't think it's big thing or anything. I know we're going to get the new Dynamite set and everything, but it does feel like there is some, like I said, some plans in motion, and they're just waiting for Revolution to roll out those plans, more than likely incrementally, because that's been a pattern of Tony Khan with AEW. So I do anticipate that. But man, there is some things to talk about this episode of AEW Dynamite. The last thing I'll talk about is the news that broke today with a recent hiring for a 3-time Emmy Award winner writer. So that's interesting in itself. But man, this Dynamite, like I said, it was decent. An interesting crowd. It was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like I said, it is what it is with the things they had to deal with as far as injuries, some sicknesses and travel issues. Take it for what it is. And I know people that don't like AEW, oh, this is trash, it's garbage, that whole thing. Like, look, it is what it is, but hey. So, let's get into it. Excuse me, guys. First things first, it looks like we're getting FTR and versus Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli at AEW Revolution. I don't mind that. For me, the way it came across on the screen and the way it was, not that they're presenting, but it just feels like there's this thing hovering FTR. And of course, if you don't know, there is some things that Cash Wheeler is dealing with as far as, some legal stuff in Florida and stuff like that. And it does feel like that's one of the reasons why we haven't seen mostly FTR together. And when we've seen them together, like it's just like okay, we're going to put you out there, but, there's not that, okay, we got this run and everything, because we really, or let me phrase that, not we, but AEW and Tony Khan more than likely doesn't know what's going to happen, or maybe they do. So it's more they're presenting FTR with reservations, not against them, but more like, hey, there's some things that could, factor into to how FTR is presented, the next 6 months or so, or a year, so it's, let's tread lightly and just do it incrementally. But man, this was a decent match. Oh man, excuse me, guys. So the match for me, it started off like it was a typical FTR style match with a typical Blackpool Combat Club style match. Moxley doing this thing, Claudio's doing this thing, Cash Ruler's doing this thing, Dax doing this thing. So everybody was doing their thing, and it just felt like the crowd. This crowd, it wasn't a bad crowd. It was just like the crowd was just, and I wouldn't even say it's AEW's fault. It's just maybe it's just something that what modern wrestling fans just the mentality and everything, and just how modern wrestling has shaped wrestling fans, that it felt like they were just sitting there waiting for something, just enjoying, like, hey, we're watching you guys do your thing, and like they were in a zone and they were just there. Not a bad thing, but that's just how it came across. But man, towards the end, man, these four guys laid in their stuff, and man, this match ended in a time limit draw. I've noticed AEW has been doing that a lot lately. I could see to some extent people like, oh, why do they keep doing time limit draws? But on the other end, what I've noticed is that the time limit draws that they do execute for some, like, they're normally for like some really hot feuds, like intense feuds, to add to the animosity that the wrestlers in the feud have. Case in point, Swerve and Hangman Page that we saw a couple weeks ago. So this just added to it. And excuse me, guys. Like I said, it ended in a time limit draw. They started brawling. Security, AEW officials, office workers, wrestlers, they break it up and they just start. Claudio leaps and gets Dax in the freaking chokehold on the corner. Cash, he dives over something. So, like, it was a cool brawl. It did feel like the match, the style was something that you would see on Collision as opposed to Dynamite. So that was something that was just like, man, this kind of feels like a Collision match, not a Dynamite match. It was like, it is what it is. So yeah, it looks like we're getting that for AEW Revolution. I don't recall commentary mentioning anything about a stipulation. And also, I have to add also that there wasn't any confirmation from Tony Khan that this was official. Not that I know of. Comment below if there was or anything like that. Let me know what you guys think about, FTR and Claudio, or FTR versus Claudio and Moxley at AEW Revolution. So I'm looking forward to that match. That's probably going to be that's going to be like a Jim Crockett Promotions 1986 tag team match style. Considering that it's going to be at the Greensboro Coliseum and it's Sting's last match, I think these four guys are going to go all out. No pun intended. Next thing that stood out to me, you had a segment where Renee Paquette was interviewing Cool Hand Angelo, and of course Ruby Soho. They're going on this date. This car pulls up and she's like, "Oh, is that your car?" He's like, "No, we got a lift." Door opens up and it's Ric Flair. Did not anticipate that. Did not expect that. He gets out. He talks to Renee. He's like, I'm upset that I'm not involved anymore. And you know what? I got to make some changes, so to speak. And he walks to this door, knocks on it. It's Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, the Young Bucks. He's like, "Can we talk?" And they're like, "What?" And like, "All right, come in." So they talk. So are they in cahoots? This is going to play out one of two ways. That Ric Flair is going to try to cost Sting the match at Revolution. One last time, Sting's going to turn on, or Ric Flair's going to turn on Sting, which would be hilarious, fun, cool, and I would love it. I would love it. Um, so that could be one thing. The flip side, this all could be a swerve where Ric Flair swerves the Young Bucks and helps Sting and Darby win. Now that I think about it, there could be a third thing where Ric Flair swerves the Young Bucks and he costs Sting the match or something like that. But normally in AEW and how Tony Khan has booked Sting and everything, like I kind of feel like Sting is gonna walk out undefeated, and that's just how they're gonna end it. Normally in wrestling, it's you do the favors, the guy who's retiring or the wrestler that's retiring, they give the nod to the guy, the guy that still wrestler, the wrestler that's still wrestling, and the future. But man, I just feel like they might do something different, and Sting will be the um, undefeated and just retire on top. Which, for me, as a huge Sting fan, he is arguably my favorite wrestler of all time. I wouldn't mind that. That guy's been my favorite wrestler of all time, and you could probably see the little Sting wrestling butter from 1980 and the Galoob 12-inch Sting. So Sting's my guy. But that's how I see it transpiring. But man, I didn't expect Ric Flair to interact with the Young Bucks and like meet with I didn't expect that segment. This was one of maybe a few segments on the show. They're just like, ooh, okay, this is interesting. And all it was, man, it was very simple. It was to the point, and it didn't go too long, and it didn't go too short. It was like the perfect timing. Ric Flair comes in, talks to them, they go in the room, they close the door, that's it. And it just makes, actually what I'm doing now, it's making fans wonder, okay, man, is he going to swerve him? Is he going to do this? Is he going to do this? Like, man, is it going like this? Is it going like this? Really good storytelling right there, folks. Really good storytelling. I like that. I'm interested to see where this is going to go, as we're basically a week and week, practically. Well, next week is the last Dynamite of February, and then the third is the first Sunday of March. So it's pretty much a week and was it 5 days or something like? Yeah, it is at 5 days. So we're getting close to Sting's last match. So that's going to be interesting. The next thing that stood out, I am enjoying this feud between Timeless Toni Storm and Deonna Purrazzo. This has been so entertaining. Not only has it been entertaining as far as the promos, the video packages, the vignettes, or anything like that. What's also been entertaining and also creative, shout out to the AW production team, is how they've been utilizing the split screen as far as the color, where you have Deonna Purrazzo in color, and then you have Toni Storm in black and white, and you just see it like that is so creative, it's so cool, and it's so simple, and it's, again, this is another cool storytelling aspect of AEW where it's like, man, that's really, it's adding to the character of Timeless Toni Storm. But man, I'm loving this feud. She practically squashes the wrestler Cindy Winnell. She was gonna put her in the ankle lock, and then she used Deonna Purrazzo's submission hold to get the win. Luther's carrying her out the ring. Deonna Purrazzo music hits. She comes, and then they have this stare down. And man, this was shot so damn good. Again, Deonna Purrazzo's in color, and Timeless Toni Storm is in black and white, and you just get this wide shot. And it was just so perfect. It's up the ramp, and it's just black and white and color, and it's just this contrast. And I'm like, man, that's so good. Then you had Deonna Purrazzo versus Madison Rayne. This match, man, it was. This was. I'm not gonna say it was a bad match or anything like that. It just, the way it came across on TV, it just didn't feel like they were clicking for whatever reason. It just it just didn't click and everything. And man, there was a nasty. It was Deonna Purrazzo, I believe it's like a DDT, and man, her Madison Rain's head just went boop like that. And right away, man, shout out to the ref and the doctor. Right away, they checked on her, and I guess she told the ref, "Yeah, I'm good." And Deonna Purrazzo wound up doing her ankle lock. She didn't let go. Well, no, she put the ankle lock on, and then afterwards, Toni Storm and Mariah May headed to the ring. They started attacking her and everything. Toni put her in the ankle lock. Then she wasn't letting go. Left. They get the split screen again. Yeah, outside of I didn't with the Toni Storm squash match. I mean, she's done it the past few weeks. That just adds to her character. She's the champ. Her squash matches aren't like, oh my god, this is like terrible. Like, it adds to her character because her character emphasizes all these wacky, crazy moves and how she wants to show up her opponents. So it adds to her. But this Deonna Purrazzo Madison Rain match, man, it was real unfortunate because like Madison Rain is a really good wrestler and everything. It was just and Deonna Purrazzo, it just didn't click, and that usually happens. But man, I'm glad Madison Rain is okay because that DDT, I was just like, ooh. I was like, ooh, okay. I hope she is not, because man, it's the way she landed on her neck and everything. It was just like, oh man, and you could do neck damage, concussion, what have you. I'm surprised that she was able to continue the match a little bit, but man, that was scary. But Deonna Purrazzo, Toni Storm, like this is another. I like this feud, man. This is a fun feud. I gotta say, with everything that's transpiring with the women's division, and not the last thing, I'll get to it about the hiring and everything. But man, the AEW women's division, they're doing some cool things, and I liked what they did tonight with the matches between Toni Storm and Deonna Purrazzo. They had them back to back. They didn't have them spread out where you got Toni Storm, she has this squash match, and then Deonna Purrazzo comes out and looks at her, or she's in the back looking on, in the camera, that side angle, and just looking like this. And then, later on, Deonna Purrazzo wrestles, and then you have that. It was fluid. So it was like, after Toni Storm's match, and she's, doing her pageantry thing, Deonna Purrazzo just interrupts her thing, and that adds to Toni Storm's character, where it's like, no one is supposed to upstage me. That's her character. Deonna Purrazzo upstaged her. So what does Toni Storm do after the match with Madison Rain? She upstaged her and attacks her. So it was a nice balance, man. I really like that. I'm looking forward to where this women's division is going, because there is some momentum here. It's cool. It's fun. And I think that's the one thing about this women's division that we're starting to notice, that not only is there momentum, but there's an enthusiasm, some fun, some intrigue, and there's, when you see the women on screen, there is a purpose for them. Not saying they didn't have it before, but the purpose is being emphasized and implemented into AEW programming, and the stories that are attached to the AEW women is adding to it. So it's just like this everything's coming together. It's just like, okay, this is cool. Like this is fun. Like, man, oh man, when you look at that AEW women's roster, like, wow. And also check out the video of what the AEW Continental Classic, or the AEW Women's Continental Classic, would look like in 2024. Go check that out. There I have like 7 different versions of the brackets and everything, and who could be involved in everything. But man, in spite of, like I said, the match between Deonna Purrazzo and Madison Rain, which was, something just didn't click. The way it was presented, it just didn't click. Again, that happens in wrestling. But man, this has been a fun story between Toni Storm and Deonna Purrazzo. Next thing that stood out, and man, Sting, man. He gives. I am going to miss Sting when he retires because the way he delivers promos, his inflection, his cadence, his mannerisms, like, man, I wish more wrestlers had that because it's just a combination. Of course, it helps if when you've been wrestling since 1986. That kind of helps, and you were one of the top stars in the Monday Night War, and you know, in wrestling history. Um, he mentioned in this promo with him and Darby Allin that, um, this past week that his dad passed away. I was like, oh wow, like condolences to his family and everything. Um, that really just like, whoa, and man, this was it goes back to what I was saying when I was discussing the Ric Flair Young Bucks, in Cahoots things. Like, it just feels like AEW is going to let Sting win on top just to have that feel good moment. It doesn't feel like they're going to be, nah, he has to lose. He's going to go down unless Sting wants to do it. And that's the cool thing about AEW and what Tony Khan's doing with Sting is that he's letting Sting decide, hey, how do you want to do this? It's up to you. However you want to do it, you do it. And that's cool, to give Sting that respect and everything. And, this promo was really, really good. Darby starts off with, you know, this puts everything in perspective. He shows a photo of Sting and his sons, and he's like, this is what life matters. Sting mentions no one has messed with my flesh and blood. Like I said, he mentioned, his dad passing away. And that kind of hit me because Sting is around, he's a little bit older than my dad, a few years. And, when he mentioned, man, his dad passed away, it made me think of my dad and a few years ago, him. It was like, so it kind of touched home. He mentions it makes me think of my own mortality. He tells the Young Bucks time catches up. He mentions I'm not invincible. And he tells the Young Bucks, everything I have left, I'm bringing to Revolution. And he tells the Young Bucks, you have a fight on your hands. And this is going to be the fight of your life. And he does a terrific job of just he is a very punctual, clear, and has one of the most perfect inflections when he's speaking and making a point in wrestling history. That Sting. Like man, I'm gonna miss this guy, and I am looking forward to that match. Let's see what happens, man. It's gonna be Showtime. I wonder if we're gonna get a kind of glimpse of like a mix of the Stings. Like, are we gonna get Surfer Sting? Are we gonna get that Sting coming back? I kind of hope we do. I hope we kind of get Surfer Sting because that would be pretty cool. I would like that. I would really like that. But we'll see what happens with that. But man, that was a promo, man. And again, condolences to his family, and that was it's like, wow, man. So condolences to Sting and his family for having that loss and everything. That touches home. The next thing that stood out, Wardlow, man. This man, if you guys see the ratings and results I posted on the YouTube shorts and everything, and pretty much on mostly all the City of Wrestling's social media accounts, this is a must-watch promo. Like, for me doing this, like, I was like, man, is it Sting's? Like, Sting's promo, that promo with Sting and Darby was good, and it's like Wardlow. But the only reason I put Wardlow must-watch is because this, like, we haven't seen this Wardlow in a long time, and man, it's so happy I'm so happy and glad to see this type of Wardlow back. He's a menace. Well, let me rephrase that. He was a menace on this promo. He mentions, I've been pissed off for a long time. They start chanting his name. He mentions, I was the next big thing. There was a rocket put on me, but it was upside down, and I've been screwed over ever since, and it's been going down, down, down. I'm the true original megastar. I've never received a title shot. Then he mentions, who's hold it, the kings, the gods. I beat the best in the world's ass, and his body's been falling apart ever since. I'm like, damn. I'm like, yo, that was a line. And it got a few people in the crowd like, oh, oh, oh. Like, that was like, oh, that was a good one. He mentions the dangerous man, Samoa Joe. He's like, I choked him out. And he mentions shining suits look better on me. Sounds like the best in the world. I'm better than you, and you know it. I'm the dangerous man. Man, I love this line that he used. I'm a king, and I'm going to start eating like one. Oh, what a line. I'm a king, and I'm going to start eating like one. Oh, man, what a line, man. Whoo. Look at me. I am everything a world champion should be. No one can stop that. This is no longer wrestling. This is a war. Ooh, man. Ooh. That was a good promo, man. That was a good promo. I am extremely excited to see what's next for Wardlow. We know he's in the Undisputed Kingdom, but man, if this is the Wardlow we're gonna get going forward, I would not be surprised, because everybody, including myself, we were anticipating or are anticipating that it's going to be kind of like Batista, where they're going to use him and kind of. I think there's going to be a turn, but I think what's going to happen, he's going to go through. He's using. Okay, how do I put this? When he joined Undisputed Kingdom to help them, help Samoa Joe defeat MJF and lose the title and all that stuff, the way it was presented was that, okay, Undisputed Kingdom is bringing Wardlow in, and Adam Cole is using him to get the world title and hand off. I think it's the other way around now. I think it's Wardlow using the Undisputed Kingdom, and then when he's done with them, he's going to go through all of them. I think that's what's going to happen. If that's the case, that's going to be very intriguing and somewhat fun, depending on how they execute it. But man, this Wardlow. And then he mentioned in this promo, the Meat Madness tournament or match that's going to be at Revolution. Then in this episode, Don Callis with Powerhouse Hobbs and Takeshita, he alluded to it that Powerhouse Hobbs is going to be there. So I don't know what this Meat Madness match is going to be. Again, I am intrigued. I'm fascinated. I want to see what this is going to, come out, because it's cool. It could be nothing but big guys. And if it's nothing but big guys, are they bringing in somebody else? Like, is this going to be other guys from other promotions? Are they looking to sign, which I don't think, but like, are they looking to sign Alex Hammerstone? Is that something that we might see? Was it Big Bill? Like, are we going to see something like this that's going to be like, ooh, I didn't see that one coming. But man, this promo was really good. This promo reestablished Wardlow as like that dude. Like, okay, this dude is on a mission. I think we're due for Powerhouse Hobbs to do the same thing, to get those monsters back to like beast. And then going forward, but man, I honestly I would love to see Hobbs and Wardlow as a tag team. Like I think Hobbs and Wardlow as a tag team would do wonders in the tag team division because right now the tag team division is like, but it. I don't think AEW has ever had. Now that I think, I don't think they've ever had two monster big guys be tag team champions and just run through the damn division. I mean, that would be, you put those two together, honestly, man, that would be not to the level, but because most of the tag teams, you don't have that many monster tag teams, it would kind of be like the Road Warriors in the 80s, where it's just like, oh, damn, who the hell are these guys? So I would like that, but getting back to this Wardlow promo, man, this is some good stuff, man. And this is one of those promos that gets you excited about them. Now you add on all the other things that are happening in AEW. Now you got momentum over here, momentum over here, momentum over here, momentum over here. Now things are starting to get momentum going forward, and I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, outside of this episode, man, or within this episode, this was, like I said, this was a decent episode. You had the Bullet Club and Acclaim. They gave a promo. Next Collision is going to be the Collision Cowboys, Billy Gunn with his sons. I think that we could possibly see a double turn. I think we're going to see Jay White and the Acclaimed turn on Billy Gunn and the Gun Club. I think that's what's going to happen because I do think the Acclaimed might be due for a heel turn, and I think they might align them with Switchblade. I think that's something that might happen. RVD looked good in this match. That was a pretty cool 6-man tag match. Hook got his stuff in. Everybody, look, it just added to what we're gonna potentially see at Revolution with Swerve Strickland, Hangman Page, and Samoa Joe. It was a decent episode. Like I said, Tony Khan tweeted that, they had, wrestlers injured and, sickness and, travel issues. So it was, for me, like I said, it was one of those episodes like, you know what? I just want to escape into this wrestling world and just, let's see what happens. And it was a decent show. Now, last but not least, before the show, earlier in the day, AEW announced that Jennifer Pepperman as vice president and content development. Her background. Let me bring this up. I think I brought it to. There we go. So I'm gonna. The official statement, AEW and CEO and head of creative Tony Khan announced that award-winning director and producer Jennifer Pepperman has joined AEW today as vice president in content development. As a professional wrestling producer and senior writer in 2017, Pepperman was prolific director and executive producer of renowned soap operas including As the World Turns, One Life to Live, and After Forever. Pepperman has won 3 daytime Emmys for Best Directing across her career, bringing decades of experience in production and directing to AEW. Pepperman will work alongside CEO and head of creative Tony Khan in the development of content for AEW Dynamite live on TBS Wednesday, AEW Rampage on TNT and every Friday, and AEW Collision live on TNT every Saturday. That's going to be interesting because it's not just one show or a division. So this is going to be really good. This is from AEW. Adding Jennifer Pepperman's brilliant mind to the AEW team opens the door for the exciting new ideas and will help us build upon the incredible stories currently developing on the road to AEW Revolution across our 3 weekly shows on TBS and TNT, and the effects of Jennifer's arrival in AEW will be felt for many years in the future, said Khan. We're thrilled to welcome her today, and I look forward to her creativity and collaboration with our team across the board in what will be AEW's biggest year yet and beyond. Now, one thing that's not mentioned in this statement, and it was reported by Fightful and many other reputable sites, Peppermint had a very close relationship with Mercedes Moné in WWE. So, Mercedes Moné, thank you. This is going to be some really cool things. Like I said at the beginning of this review, there's a lot of things in motion with AEW, and I think a lot of people are, I wouldn't say sleeping on them, underestimating what AEW is going to be doing in the next couple of months, especially after Revolution. We're in store for a treat. AEW fans are in store for a treat. Wrestling fans are in store for a treat. This is going to be fun. And when you have this much creativity and creative minds that are working together in cohesion, in a cohesive manner, in one forward direction, only good things can come out of it. So I'm looking forward to how this comes out. Man, March 3rd, Sting and big business, man. That I'm waiting for that Dynamite, because that Dynamite is gonna be it's gonna be dope. But man, overall, this was a decent episode. I'm looking forward to what's gonna transpire on Rampage, and I'm looking forward to Collision. Man, just there's a lot of cool stuff happening in wrestling with WWE, AEW. The independents. You had Rev Pro, which they mentioned tonight, with Orange Cassidy defending the international title. You got some stuff happening with CMLL and AEW. There's stuff going on in AAA. There's some cool stuff in MLW. NWA is doing some pretty cool stuff in spite of what transpired months ago, but they're doing some cool stuff. New Japan's got its things going. So, man, if you're a wrestling fan, man, there's a lot of cool things to tap into, and just like, ooh, wow, this is pro wrestling right now is like a freaking buffet. So it's like whatever you like, it's there. WWE, AEW, it's there. But man, I enjoyed tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. Looking forward to, like I said, Collision, Rampage, and of course Revolution. But man, let's see what happens in the future with AEW and this new hire with Jennifer Peppermint, and how the things she's going to implement. I'm intrigued and have a lot of enthusiasm. Like, man, you know what? Let's see how this goes. But that is my review for the February 21st episode of AEW Dynamite. Again, like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notifications on all social media platforms, so that way you are notified when the City of Wrestling drops its latest content. Also, before I finish this review, please go watch that AEW, what would the AEW Continental Classic look like if it was, the women involved. Go check out that video. I know I hacked up the name. It is what it is. But go check out that video. It's pretty cool. Shout out to Light Skin Gasian, Mid-South NWA, and Bald Bro from TikTok for contributing on that video. With that, folks, until next time, again, pro wrestling, never say never. There's never a dull moment. With that, folks, I'll see you next time.